Hello everybody, my name is Emily Cooper and today we are going to be talking about Hispanics in politics. So first I wanted to start with a little disclaimer. I did try my very best to get all of my information from neutral or moderate websites, and I did not insert any of my own opinions. I know that politics is a very hot topic these days and I don't want to push any buttons, so I hope you enjoy. First off, it's important to know why we should discuss this topic, as it is a very important topic for us to focus on. The reason why is because Hispanics do make up a great amount of the American population today. In fact, as of 2018, we reached a record of 59.9 million Hispanics in the United States. And you can see in this chart I have over here on the right that it has steadily been increasing since 1970. Now it has kind of capped off to where it's not as many Hispanics, and we are getting more people from the Asian communities coming over here and stuff, but this is what we're talking about now, getting ahead of myself. But the current population of Hispanics and Latinos in South Carolina as of 2020 is 235,682, and that's out of a total of 5 million. Now that's a very big amount. And the reason why these big amounts are so important is because they do hold the power to sway an election either way. So it is really good to know how they think and how they can affect our elections in the future. Whether you see that as positive or negative, they're going to affect it somehow. So here are some issues that involve Hispanic and Latino communities. Again, I forgot to mention this, but I will be saying Hispanic/Latino a lot, as a lot of the numbers that we've been seeing and a lot of the polls kind of combine them together. So one of the most obvious issues is immigration. That has gone down the list of importance for Hispanic and Latino communities, but that is still an issue. For example, immigration reform, and just with illegal immigrants coming here, that's obviously an issue, they're coming here. The next thing is education, which is basically, for example, school opportunities beyond high school. As we have talked about in the past week or so, I believe, students that are illegal immigrants, they don't get an opportunity beyond high school, so they don't get to go to college. So it's dealing with those sorts of things. Another issue is healthcare. So who is qualified for healthcare is the main question. And healthcare is a big issue for Americans already as it is, but it is very big in these immigrant communities. And jobs and the economy is another issue because they do take up a lot of American jobs. The jobs they work are, for example, landscaping, contracting, a lot of building and hands-on hard work. They're willing to do that much work for a bit of a lower price. So yeah, their values are based off of those in which you have to work really hard to get where you want to in life. So that's why jobs in the economy is very much important to this community. And what do the Hispanics care about the most out of these issues? And I found it very interesting that immigration is not on the top anymore. It was in the past with the Obama administration, but then after that they realized, not that they realized, but I think they just figured out that other things are more important to them. So the top one is education with 55%. The next one is jobs in the economy at 54%. The next is healthcare at 50%. And then the next is immigration at 34%. And over here you can see where I got that information from. And it's just showing how they kind of changed in importance to the Hispanic community. And these are based off of registered voters. Next, we're going to break down which way the Hispanic community kind of leans in terms of parties. So this is the Hispanics and the Democratic Party. A majority of Hispanic voters do lean more Democratic, and in 2016, about 64% identified or leaned toward the Democratic Party. And another thing I found very interesting was that those who are U.S. born, meaning their parents are illegal immigrants, but they were born in the U.S., so therefore they are citizens, they lean more Democratic. And those who are immigrants, they tend to be more conservative. And then with being a part of the Democratic Party, many identified as more moderate Democratic instead of just straight up liberal, and that says a lot about where they come from, as they're very Catholic. So a lot of the social ideologies don't mesh well with liberal ideologies, but they do still lean more Democratic, if that makes sense. And underneath you can see these two pie charts where it compares the Hispanic community to the general population. And you can see that the numbers are a lot more evened out in the Hispanic community, which I also think attests to their Christian values. So this is Hispanics in the Republican Party. About 25% of Hispanic voters do lean towards the Republican Party. And as I stated before, legal immigrants do lean more conservative and therefore more Republican. The Hispanic community is largely Catholic and evangelical. I think I said that right. So they steer right on many social issues. And something that I also find very interesting is that polls have shown 45% to 50% approval rating for the Trump presidency comes from the Hispanic communities. And these two numbers, I said 45% to 50% because there have been multiple studies done on this, and they've been done from very left media sites, from right media sites, and a bunch in the middle. So I just took the two closest ones to get the most accurate results. But yes. So next we're going to kind of discuss what is the American dream, and we're going to hear from Latinos themselves. So specifically with the video we're about to watch, you can look it up and watch the whole thing yourself. There's two parts to it, and it's called if you look up Latinos Debate Vice, it'll pop up. And it's basically they get Latinos who are a part of the conservative side and who are more liberal, and they put them together and ask them pressing questions. So you very much get to see the diversity among these communities. And I just think it's really cool, and it can really broaden your horizons into understanding how other people think. And these websites also have other groups doing this as well. They had Black conservatives debating Black liberals, and they also had those of the LGBTQ community debate each other on these sorts of topics. And I think it is very helpful in understanding and us becoming a community and just getting to know how everyone else works. And I think it is very interesting. So we're going to try to figure this out.
It's like legitimate reasons. You have to verify paperwork to claim asylum.
When you think of this American dream, right? Oh God. What type of American dream? It may not exist, and you tell me that it may not exist, right? But when you do think of this idea of the American dream, what does that look like for the Latinx community?
I'm so sorry, y'all.
In my opinion, the American dream is opportunity. And even though our country is not perfect, I think there's more opportunity here to succeed than any other country in the world. And I can't argue.
Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you.
Sorry.
I think that the American dream, what essentially means is people from the global south coming here and then obtaining the privilege to ignore the United States' involvement in the global south.
What does that look like for you?
To me, as he said, the dream is opportunity. It is to come here and make money. It is to have my own business. It is to succeed. I don't necessarily think education means success. I have many friends and many people that I know are millionaires and didn't go to school, didn't finish, were college dropouts. And I actually agree with you, and we talked about this earlier, about the pharmaceutical industry and how anti-big pharma I am. And even though we may have our disagreements, most of us just want to reboot in all the establishments. And this means our healthcare, these like pharmaceuticals, it means education, it means everything else. But what I don't want is to give the government more power because they're already messing everything up.
Yeah. The less government reliance, the better. Walk into a DMV, see how that's run. Walk into a small business, see how that's run.
Yeah, United States
You get government out of the way, I promise you, things will take care of themselves. The more the government puts their hands in everything, the more things get ruined. Okay?
The roads will be destroyed. For me, the biggest issue that has happened with the change of government is how people relate to each other. I think a lot of respect has been lost. And policy aside, which is really important, I think I look for a day when people can come together and disagree, but still respect each other.
Our country has become so divided that you can't even sit down with your neighbors.
I can't even
But it's worse.
So I'm gonna stop that before it gets very heated and they start cursing. But again, I think this just is really cool how you can get all these people of different ideologies together, but under the same sort of minority umbrella, I guess you could say, and to get to hear how they feel about these certain issues that are important to the American public and how they feel as Americans, what their dream is. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed this presentation. Stay safe and have a great summer.